Hey, welcome back. We're now at part 3 of this week's new comics, bitches! So, let's steam forward, because we've got a lot to talk about. Okay, so we've got Demon Knights, number 7. Back to Paul Cornell here. This was a major melee. We had some really interesting stuff happening in this, of course, Vandal Savage double-crossing his own, again, another double-cross. And we just, I mean, it's, you know, all of Little Spring, basically what this whole, what this whole story has been about is, this battle. It's been, kind of leading up to this battle. And it doesn't end particularly well, but it does kind of end. There's so much going on here. Everybody has their moments. Again, Paul Cornell just really kind of, figuring out, okay, well, this is what, just really kind of plotting out, okay, this is what needs to happen with these characters. Each character having their own separate beat, but still working in tandem together. Now, while this may not be the first issue or two of this comic had me I kind of felt a bit of a Secret Six vibe that hasn't disappeared, but it's not nearly as prevalent as it was, I think, in the first couple of issues. Because if you know me, you know I loved Secret Six, one of my favorite DC comics ever, I would say, as far as, a long-running, kind of DC superhero book, I should say. And it was just brilliant. It was terrific. And nothing has been able to really come close to that except this book. This book is, Demon Knights has been the only book that's been close. Because you have the bullshit Suicide Squad, and I did read, actually, this particular issue of Suicide Squad just because I was interested, because, it has this whole thing of the origin of Harley Quinn. It was awful. I hated it. So, like, another maybe half star to that piece of shit comic. It's just like they don't know what direction to go into, so they're just making shit up as they go along. And I guess that's part of the freedom of starting over. But anyway, back to Demon Knights. And I'm talking about Suicide Squad as far as piece of shit, because this book was really good. It's, this is a book that is definitely not bereft of dialogue. There's a lot of dialogue. There's a lot of action. There's a lot of there's just a lot of really cool stuff going on here, and I just really enjoyed pretty much every moment of this book. It really smartly done, very smartly executed. Diogenes Nevis, what a great artist, man. I mean, that's one of the things that I've really enjoyed about the New 52 is seeing, like, all of these new artists that I haven't been exposed to before working on these different projects. So I know that my bank account hurts because I got all of the issues of the New 52, although I would have picked this one up anyway. I would have definitely gotten the first issue of Demon Knights. Pretty much every one that I got the number 1 of, I enjoyed pretty much from the beginning, or was willing to give it enough of a chance to continue. So, very solid 4 out of 5, leaning more towards 4.5 for Demon Knights number 7. Again, we have another terrific issue of Frankenstein, Agent of Shade. Now, I know that Jeff Lemire is going to be leaving this book soon, but this issue, Rise of the Human, and you gotta love these J.G. Jones covers. They're just fantastic. But basically, the humanids basically taking over taking over Shade City, and it's just not good until Frank gets back, and and we've got Ray Palmer being kind of a badass in this issue finally. Instead of just being relegated to being just being one of the kind of uber scientists that are that are in Shade City. And we've got Griffin, and we've got the the vampire, which I can never remember his fucking name. And Father Time, and just everybody doing their thing. Velcoro, sorry, and of course there's Karis. But then we have Nina Mazursky, who created the Humanids, and we have Lady Frankenstein. It's crazy, it's fun, it's wacky, it's just, and it has, again, a really cool finale, this kind of, really cool teaser leading into the next issue. It's just, every issue of this comic has been gold. So, I mean, I love Agent of Shade. I'm going to really miss Jeff Lemire leaving this title, because I just don't think it's going to have the same impact. And Alberto Ponticelli, again, just really good stuff, really good stuff. So I definitely want more, but unfortunately I'm going to be getting less. So solid 4, again, edging more towards 4.5 out of 5 for Frankenstein Agent of Shade number 7. So now here we have Batgirl number 7. Now, here we have Gale maybe biting off a little bit more than she can chew, but at the same time, it's like, we've had in previous issues sometimes not enough going on. And this one, I think maybe there's a little bit too much going on, because we do have this... we have, basically, again, we're kind of skipping around in time. The book begins later than the events in pretty much the rest of the book. We have, Batgirl trying to take down, this group, the grotesque, with grotesque at the lead, and we've got, this kind of sparring match, pseudo kind of, pumping up of a Batgirl by Black Canary. They do spar together, but because she, Barbara knows that she has this mental block because of being out of the wheelchair finally and being able to physically, confront and take down the people that are that need to go. And goes very far to show how how close these two characters are to each other, Black Canary and Barbara. But we also have a little interlude here with Barbara kind of basically coming to visit, to come and visit her long lost ex-husband. Jim Gordon here. Again, I'm not really too keen on the resurgence of the red hair with Commissioner Gordon. I don't know if in this iteration of the New 52 if he's supposed to be younger. Not too huge of a fan of that, especially since this is continuing just after the events. All the Bat books are continuing just after the events of what came before, but and in in the whole arc with, and this goes back to that arc of Detective with Scott Snyder and Jock and Francesco Francavilla. He had gray hair there, and now he's red hair again, and they seem to completely bypass the fact that Jim Gordon saw his wife Barbara in that series. So I'm not, it seems like the whole New 52 it seems to have kind of forgotten about what happened before, but here they are. They're talking about that the reason that she's giving for having to leave them in the first place was because of James Jr. Potentially because she knew that he was some kind of psychopath, but ultimately at the very end here we've got the kind of the real part of her nightmare. Her kind of having to come face to face with one of the men who was actually with the Joker when she was shot. So it actually does harken back specifically to frames of The Killing Joke, because one of the men that was working alongside, one of the henchmen that was working alongside of Grotesque is in fact one of the is one of the two assholes who were with the Joker when he came a-knocking and put a bullet in her spine. Like I said, I think Gale kind of overextends herself. Artie and CF does a really good job with the art, except for one panel which really bugged the hell out of me. It looked like it literally looked like Batgirl was swinging around. She had her eyes closed, her mouth open, like she was about to fall asleep while she was swinging. And I don't know if that was the point, but there was no oh, I'm tired, kind of sentiment there, but it was just I didn't get that feeling. But so that panel just kind of it threw me. It's like, what? Why is she swinging around when she's looking so tired? But again, the story itself, it's leading to an interesting place. About a 3.5 out of 5. It's it's better than average, but again, it's like Gail Simone. This whole New 52 thing, I think that she just really kind of misses the Secret Six, and wants to go back to that. And here we have Batwoman number 7, and kind of continuing on with the Bat family, and we have all of these different stories from these different characters, with with Chase and with Kate and with Motto. Medusa, all of this magic, and all of these things that are going on. Of course, with Beth and Jacob, and that she's still in a coma and everything like that. There's a lot going on here, and Amy Reeder, essentially, we found out just recently that she's leaving. That she's left this book. Whether or not I forgot who they said was taking over for her. But it's not going to be J.H. Williams, at least not for a while. Once, I think, this book, this particular issue, like I said, because it's a little bit too scattered, and just the art in and of itself is just not up to snuff. I mean, it's pretty grotesque. I mean, what needs to be grotesque is grotesque, and what needs to have detail has detail, but ultimately, the construction of the framework just doesn't have the same power that J.H. Williams has, and that is where ultimately I think it doesn't work quite as well. So 3 out of 5 to Batwoman number 7. Just overall, just kind of disappointing. But we've got our books of the week coming up, so stay tuned.